Hi, I'm Khrystyna Klimash, and you're on the podcast Building Digital Products, where we speak about the technologies that can boost your business here and now. And today's guest is Xiuqi. He is the co-founder and CEO of Chargeblast, a pioneering platform that helps businesses reduce chargeback rates to near zero. With Chargeblast, Chi has transformed how merchants handle payment disputes and for about 1 year protected over $2 billion in global transactions. His expertise spans investment areas, fintech, venture capital, and corporate development. Hello, Chi.
Thanks for having me.
I would suggest you talk today mostly about your product, Chargeblast, which is truly an outstanding product. Could you describe its benefits for businesses and customers?
Sure. In this world of e-commerce and software, there's more and more subscription-based business models. And with subscription-based business models are an elevated risk for consumer credit card chargebacks. Many people will forget to cancel their subscriptions or will have an order shipped to them, and now they have too much product. And it's almost easier nowadays to go out to your credit card app and press the dispute button than to reach out to the actual merchant and ask for your money back. So we've seen over the course of the last few years, chargeback rates really elevating for these subscription e-commerce and SaaS companies. Now, what Chargeblast does specifically to help out these merchants is when a consumer does charge back, so when they click on that dispute button or call their credit card company, instead of that information being routed to the payment processor, for example, Stripe, it actually reaches Chargeblast first. And then we'll inform the merchant that there's been a chargeback initiated. The merchant will have 48 to 72 hours to refund the transaction or work out the issue with the consumer. And if they do so, then they can resolve the situation and we'll let the credit card company know that everything's fine, don't push forward the chargeback. So in the eyes of the payment processor, it's as if there's never been a chargeback. And this way, the payment processor now sees the merchant as lower risk. With lower risk, there's lower chance of having your payment processing account shut down, and the payment processor is also going to let the merchant accept more payments. This is something not a lot of merchants think about, but when you have a healthy payment processing account, you can increase your payment acceptance rate by up to 5%. That's 5% additional sales that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, but you did spend in terms of getting the leads for those transactions.
And how actually did you come with this idea?
Yep. So now, almost 2 years ago, we had another business that was an AI subscription business. And we sold primarily to the younger demographic. And of course, students and younger aged young adults, they typically have less money. They don't use their own credit cards. And they would rather spend money on something else than software, right? So we received a lot of chargebacks for this first company, and we almost lost our Stripe account. So when that occurred, we were looking everywhere to see if there's a solution. There wasn't really a good one, especially one that integrated well with Stripe. So we decided to found Chargeblast on our own merchant pain points, and it's gotten a lot of good product market fit. Like you mentioned earlier, we do currently protect about 2 billion in annual transaction volume. And it's only been a little bit over a year, right? So clearly other folks are having the same problems, and luckily Chargeblast is there to serve them.
When preparing for the interview, I discovered Chargeblast and I was shocked. The company founded in 2023 has already protected over $2 billion in payment volume by implementing this service. Can you explain how you came up with such a needed solution for businesses?
So the problem with chargebacks is that it's kind of a niche space. No one starting a business is going to really think about chargebacks until they have a problem. Most of the merchants come to Chargeblast when it's almost too late, when there's a 1% dispute rate or a 2% dispute rate, and the payment processor has already given them a notice that their dispute rate is too high and they may have to shut down the account. So there's one merchant that is quite large. They're a marketplace merchant. They came to us and they were on Stripe and they were processing probably 100 million a year or so. And they had a dispute rate of 0.95% or so. It was just under 1%. And because their dispute rate was high, especially on the Visa side, right? The initial threshold for risk for Visa is 0.65%, right? They were above that. And because they were above that, they were put on something called the Visa Dispute Monitoring Program. And to get off that program, you have to show 3 months of sequential chargeback rates or dispute rates below that 0.65%. So they came to us specifically because we were integrated with Stripe. And we implemented our solution, and within those 3 months, they were off of the Visa Dispute Monitoring Program. So this really shows how powerful having a solution is when things are going wrong. However, it also shows to merchants, you should really think about your business model. Is your business model prone to chargebacks? Because if it is, it's better to get set up with Chargeblast sooner than later. Because the last thing you want is to be growing quickly, and then all of a sudden you lose your payment processor, you lose your Stripe account, and you can't take any more money. You can't take payments, right? That's about the worst thing that can happen to a merchant. So it's always good to address the situation beforehand rather than come to us when you have a 1 or 2% chargeback rate.
What were the top challenges your team faced when building the digital product, and how did you overcome them?
I think one of the biggest challenges we faced was figuring out two things. One is navigating the payments ecosystem. The payments world is quite different than other worlds because it's really dominated by two large players like Visa and MasterCard. So you have to figure out how to work well in the system, how to collaborate with partners, because everyone kind of depends on each other. It's an ecosystem. And you can't just be quote unquote disruptive because you're disrupting something in Visa MasterCard's house, right? You really can't do that. You don't want to be knocking things over. So that's something we learned early on, is to really figure out how to work well with partners in the ecosystem. And then when it came to actually developing a digital product, I'd say the biggest challenge we face is how to develop multiple work streams at the same time, especially when we have so many great ideas. It's hard to do one thing or do three ideas at the same time, but each of those 3 ideas are very valuable. So right now we're actually working on figuring out how to scale our technical team so that we can work on 3 solutions at the same time rather than just working on one single solution and then another and then another. So getting a little bit more scale in the tech team.
You are an official Stripe and Shopify partner along with other big name payments processing firms like Zipper, PayPal, Braintree, and others. Could you share the top 3 tips for establishing such productive cooperations?
Yeah. So there's 2 ways you can approach it. You can approach it from top to bottom or from bottom to top, right? If you want to really move quickly and test things out, I highly recommend reaching out to the folks that are really on the ground, especially some of the sales folks that require a solution when one of their leads or merchants has a problem. So that's been very productive for us. We've been working with lots of sales folks from Stripe and Shopify and other payment processors. Now, there's another approach where you can establish relationships at the top. You target VPs or you reach out to C-suites. That's a little bit challenging just because folks are really busy at the top. But when you establish those relationships and it goes well, you get a lot of scale, meaning when something's implemented, it's implemented across the whole company, and all the salespeople are aware of it, rather than bottom up, where you first are working with one salesperson, maybe then a couple, and then before you know it, there's some word of mouth, and now you have 5 or 6. Takes time. So those are the two different approaches that we've taken so far.
At our LinkUp studio, we have a marketing team that help promote clients' product, acquire leads, increase awareness, etc. Would you mind sharing your most effective strategies for the promotion of Chargeblast services?
Honestly, it's challenging. B2B, I think, is quite challenging when it comes to marketing and promoting. So we first got established and got some good traction because of organic social media. So we leveraged our background in our first B2C business to get some social media traction going. And then we leveraged some ad spend. I like ad spend because it's a little bit more predictable. And then we leveraged the relationships that we built at these payment processors. And we just started doing outbound. We didn't really do much outbound at the beginning. We didn't find that it had very good results, but now we're seeing it start to work. So at the end of the day, though, I'd say a good amount of our inbound actually comes from word of mouth now. Because if you do right by your clients, they'll share about your company to their network, and then that drives business, right? So we have a 4.6 out of 5-star Trustpilot rating with almost 100 reviews now. And that really demonstrates our commitment to our clients and the white glove service that we provide.
I completely agree. And our company, we also find that referrals are one of the best sales techniques. When you can refer a firm you have worked with for a long time, it truly adds value.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, you have a very nice puppy.
Yes, that's my puppy in the back. Her name is Cashew.
Is it a multiple?
She is a poodle, Yorkie, and Maltese mix. So add in the Yorkie, yes. She's very nice.
I will also have a puppy in a week, a toy poodle.
Oh, really? Toy poodle? They're very smart. Poodles are very smart.
We know that a successful product always has got its team behind the scenes. What are the most important qualities and points you considered when hiring people to the Chargeblast company?
Yeah. So one thing that I really believe in is you want to have a team that is very, how do you say this? That is very flexible. You want people, because you're a startup, you don't want people who just come in and do their job and that's that. You want folks who can leverage opportunities to develop new skill sets and are excited to learn. Because at the end of the day, those folks are going to be the leaders in the company that train the next generation of people at Chargeblast. So really, I look for people that are intellectually curious, people that are very motivated and driven, and folks that may not have experience in the position that I hire them for, but definitely I can see good potential.
And did these qualities change like from the last year?
Yeah, good question. No, not so much. Not so much. Because, I mean, my background, I don't have any payments background. I just got into payments a year ago, right? And then I studied biology in college, right? So I don't really believe that success comes from experience, significant amounts of experience. I think success comes from hard work and willingness to learn. So we really focus on potential employees that demonstrate those values.
Thank you for sharing. And it is all from this section. I would be happy to ask you right now flash questions. I will give you 2 options and you need to pick just the one. Are you ready?
Ready.
Let's start. Walking with a dog or having a dog?
Having a dog.
New Haven or New York?
New York.
Passion or skill?
Passion.
Molecular biology class or demo call with a client?
Molecular biology class.
A persistent work or overnight success?
Persistent work.
Thank you for coming to our show today. It was a pleasure having you at our show.
Thank you for having me again, and good luck with everything as well.
Click like and subscribe button to not skip the following episodes. Bye!